I always thought it'd be cool to be a vampire.
Konnichiwa minasan, Yonggi-baka desu. Hisashiburi desu, ne? Anata wa genki de shita ka? Ore no channel to atarashi video e yokoso. Ii ne shite kodoku suru onegaishimasu. Hai.
Yay! Oh! Yeah!
I always thought it'd be cool to be a vampire. One of the more attractive ones. Think of Edward or Carlisle Cullen from Twilight. Not old, dusty, and crusty like Dracula or Nosferatu.
I know what you are.
Say it out loud.
Though, I found Dracula to be a much more stimulating read than Twilight. That's not saying much though, because Twilight sets the bar so low if it even sets one at all. If I could choose though.
You want someone to blame? Try blaming those filthy bloodsuckers you love!
When I was growing up, back in elementary, I was a closeted Twilight fan. It was just something I couldn't admit because I'd probably be bullied more than I already was. The characters, story, and writing were all meh, even then. But I was drawn to the romanticized allure of what being a vampire would be like in such a romantic entanglement. Minus the sparkles, of course.
Yes, those zombie worms. They just won't die.
An anime released this summer reinvigorated my ideals of becoming a vampire. And that anime is none other than Yofukashi no Uta. When I first came across the title, I only understood the last two words, no Uta, which would translate to Song of, and then whatever Yofukashi is. It wasn't listed as a music anime, meaning that Uta would be used symbolically here, and it was enough to capture my attention. Yofukashi roughly translates to staying up late, or night owl by the way. The English title of Yofukashi no Uta is Call of the Night, and in itself is a romantically poetic title. Semantic dissection aside, the idea of the night beckoning to those who find themselves awake has a certain mysticism to it. The best things in life happen after nightfall. I'm gonna leave it up to your interpretation as to what that may entail. All I know is that if you're with a vampire, that would make everything that much more better. As you may have guessed, the majority of Yofukashi no Uta takes place during the wee hours of the night. And you may also be thinking that it's a dark and shadowy anime. And it is, for the most part. But the anime is also filled with vibrant magentas that fill the backdrop of the anime's cityscapes, emphasizing just how beautiful the night is to those who seek refuge in its stillness. Enough about the auxiliary elements that make watching Yofukashi no Uta somewhat interesting. The anime follows the life of a second-year middle school student named Yamori Ko, who has trouble falling asleep at night, and has withdrawn himself from the world around him, choosing to sleep during the day and take to the streets after nightfall, in true Yofukashi fashion. On the first of Ko's nightly solo sojourns, he comes across Nanakusa Nazuma, the vampire alluded to, a champion of the night who proclaims it to be a time of freedom, who also routinely takes to the streets at night, to do as vampires do, find people to sample their blood. Whoa ho 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 ho.
あ、お酒買ってる。いいなあ。あれ？ 君いくつ？
Ko permits Nazuna to sample from his blood, as he wants to one day become a vampire himself and freely walk the streets at night. Congruent with his character. The only stipulation is that he must first fall in love with Nazuna. And if that's all it takes, sign me up. I'm ready to join the Legion of the Night myself. Hey, she's old enough to go to a restaurant and order a beer. She's probably twice my age. At least. Probably.
俺を吸血鬼にしてください。
お、ちょっと待って。
何ですか？
だから人が吸血鬼になるには条件を満たさない。
Nazuna may not look it, but she may even be a zillion years old. I mean, she has a rotary phone and often refers to Ko as boy, which also seems pretty dated. But when it comes to vampires, she's the total package, total waifu material. She has the looks, the style, flight and strength, and spunky personality to boot. The only thing is that she gets really flustered when love and romance are on the table.
じゃ、横になって。
これは。
All other topics don't make Nazuna squirm in the slightest, no matter how racy they may be. Mostly aimed towards teasing Ko, of course. And the sheer number of double entendres and recontextualized adult situations hilariously fill the narrative that follows a nightwalker, a boy, and the freedom they find at night. Teetering on the moral and immoral scales, dipping in and out of each. But sure, Nazuna, suck on Ko's delicious blood. I bet he drinks pineapple juice.
え？
いや、じゃなくて、質問の答えがまだなんですけど。
なんだっけ？
だからなんで俺は血吸われたのに吸血鬼にならないのかって聞いてんすよ。
あったうるさいな。
うるさい？うるさく。
It's a good thing that Asai Akira, a pure, cute, and honest schoolgirl, lives in the same apartment building as Ko, who was a schoolmate of his and childhood friend, who still considers him a friend to this day, and in many ways is Nazuna's rival, encouraging Ko to return to school and a life of normalcy, all while quite possibly having feelings for Ko herself, becoming the antithesis to Nazuna.
小6くらいから明るくなって友達も増えて話しかけるタイミング失っちゃってヤモリからコール来るの待ってたけど全然来ないし
Just wouldn't be a romantic themed comedy anime without a love triangle at least involved, with Ko at its center, Nazuna and Akira on opposing sides. Life as a vampire or life as a human. Eternal youth or growing old together. Night versus day. To drive this point home, Nazuna wears a black ensemble and Akira a white school top blouse, not to ignore their glaring personality differences.
あなた何なの？
吸血鬼に決まってんだろ。
There's just something about the night, how quiet and peaceful it is, seeing familiar spaces in a new light. Undisturbed by all else, I wish I could slip as freely as Ko does into the night and wander around, but I'm 100% more likely to come across drunkards, druggies, and wanderers looking for trouble than I am a cute vampire.
いっぱい飲んだか？
いっぱい飲んだ。
飲んだ。
イエーイ！
The young child, Ko, it's punny, I promise, faces the age-old dilemma. Which side would he pick? If you're keeping up to date with Yofukashi no Uta, let me know in the comments below which side you would choose. And if you're not keeping up to date with Yofukashi no Uta, I mean, a cute, sexy vampire girl being the source of all kinds of wish fulfillment for Nightowls alike. Come on. I know which side I would pick. I mean, there's just something beautiful about growing old with your loved one, innit?
イエーイ！ イエーイイエーイ。じゃあまたね。
Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. And until next time, ja mata ne!
だから俺はナズナちゃんのことを好きになりたいんだ。
Of course, if Ko becomes a vampire and persuades Akira to become a vampire, the three of them can do all kinds of fun nighttime activities together, like sleep together.
話は終わったか二人とも。寝るぞ。